Hi everybody. It's issue number 1 month. Woo! We're continuing issue number 1 month. Today we are reviewing Batman Beyond issue number 1. Um, I really recommend this issue. It was really fun. I read it for the first time when planning curriculum for the ministry review. Um, This this is a Batman Beyond story. It takes place following the end of Future's End, where the Batman the person that's Batman Beyond in this story is does refer to the ending of Future's End, where Terry McGinnis he went back in time to shut down Brother Eye, and he sacrificed his life to do it. And due to that, and for the sake of the future still having a Batman, um, the future Tim Drake, became Batman Beyond. Um, this a lot of the heavy themes comes. It has to do with the view and regard of the Batman mantle. Um, and we see how different people view it. Specifically Matt, Terry's little brother, and Tim Drake, where Matt both like is mourning Terry, but also he feels that if he had the chance to, like, if he was around when Terry died, that Matt would have gotten the bat suit and been Batman, and he for the issue feels like he would be a better Batman than would have been a better Batman Beyond than Tim. And Tim's response to it is feeling like he is seeing how selfless Terry was as Batman. Feels like he feels unworthy or unfit to be Batman. And in the end, like you see, and there's stuff going on with um I think it was some sort of like bombs going off, or like, yeah, where like you see in this comic like the wreckage of the city, and you see the remnants of, and Tim Drake ends up fighting a cyborg, a simulated version of Superman in this, and we see him have his own selfless acts as he fights Superman, and how much he sacrifices. He doesn't die, but like there are times, and as the comic and tone, you feel like he is very dangerously close to dying at times. And you see the and you see interesting relationships between like some characters that we find out, um like we see Matt, I think it's Matt, and we see him talking to Barbara Gordon and some of the other survivors from like features and stuff. And it's really interesting the conversation that they talk about with needs and stuff like that and what they need and what tools that they need to be able to survive and live. But yeah, if you can pick up this back issue, I highly recommend it. I I've been I haven't read as many Batman Beyond books as I'd like to, but I really enjoy it. I I was like a big fan of the show, and I don't know if I have reviewed it, but if not, there will be in the future a ministry review of Batman Beyond Return of the Joker if I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I highly recommend the show. It is fun. And the comic, the issue is really good. I have a few more comics from that run that if they're as good as the first issue was, I definitely intend to and look forward to reviewing them with you, like doing ministry reviews of them. This was a fun one to do, and okay, now we're getting now. I'm gonna and now I'm gonna read a passage of scripture, and we're gonna talk about it. Okay, but okay, with I'm gonna start with I'm gonna read from verse. We're reading 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 1 through 20. We're gonna read 1:14 through 29. Yes, the body has many parts, not just one part. If the foot says, I am not a part of the body because I am not a hand, that does not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear says, I am not part of the body because I am not an eye, would that make it any less a part of the body? If the whole body were an eye, how would you hear? Or if your whole body were an ear, how would you smell anything? But our bodies have many parts, and God has put each part just where He wants it. How a strange body would be if it had only one part. Yes, there are many parts, but only one body. The eye can never say to the hand, I don't need you. The heart can't say to the feet, I don't need you. In fact, some parts of the body that seem weakest and least important are actually most necessary, and the parts we regard as less honorable are those we clothe with the greatest care. So we carefully protect those that should not be seen, while the most honorable parts do not require this special care, so God has put the body together such that extra honor and care are given to those parts that have less dignity. This makes for harmony among the members so that all the members care for each other. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. And if one part is honored, all the parts are glad. All together are Christ's bodies, and each of you is a part of it. Here are some of the parts of God as appointed for the church. First are apostles, second are prophets, third are teachers, then those who do miracles, those who have the gift of healing, those who can help others, those who have the gift of leadership, and those who speak in unknown languages. We are all apostles. Are we all apostles? Are we all prophets? Are we all teachers? Do we all have the power to do miracles? Do we all have the gift of healing? Do we all have the ability to speak unknown languages? Do we all have the ability to interpret unknown languages? Of course not. So you should earnestly desire the most helpful gifts. But now let me show you a way of life that is best of all. And God calls us all to do ministry and all to make disciples who make disciples. But God's made us different and planned us to be different and unique and place us where He has intended and planned to place us and has a plan set for us. Though some of us in doing ministry, just because we are all called to do ministry does not mean that we will all be senior pastors or youth pastors or worship leaders, because there's ministry, though it happens in the confines of the building that the church meets at a few times a week. Our ministry isn't and shouldn't be confined within its walls. Ministry takes place corporately, but also to be able to reach the people who are uncomfortable in our corporate church methods. We need to be willing, like we need to be willing to go out and through other gifts that God has given us, even though they might not seem divine in nature, we should not underestimate God's ability to share the gospel and change hearts of ourselves and other people. Because I want to reference something from a book that we read in orientation ministry. It was Working the Angels by Eugene Peterson, where it talked about how most helpful spiritual direction we give is the stuff that is unplanned, that we do not plan, and is seemingly spontaneous. And this is also why it is important to surrender our ministry and steward our abilities to do ministry well, because it is not us we're glorifying, and we should not be caught up in just doing ministry and doing good works, though those are good things. Even in our good works, we need to discern them and make sure that what we are doing is God honoring and what God is calling us to. And that doesn't mean that we have to have a mega church or even be a preacher or be paid staff at a church or ministry program. It could mean just being a person in your community that when people are off to themselves, making time and putting in the effort, just walking up and sitting with them, or just simply saying hi or asking how they're doing. Because sometimes one of the most spiritual fulfilling things we can do for each other and other people are just reminding each other and other people that God cares about them and we care about them, and that they are loved and are worth making sacrifices for. And with that being said, may God be with you, and see you next time. Bye.